Everything you could think of that we can grow here in our area, in our zone, we do just that for healthier food. And we want to be able to provide for the community also. And we do just that. People know what's going on here. And they want to be a part of what's going on here. So they come and they buy our product. They help us, with farming on the land, etc. So we realized that this is a way that God would have us to do things. And so we do.
Hello, everyone. This is Felicia Bell of the Gulf States region. I am regional coordinator and ag specialist here at National Center for Appropriate Technology. Today, we're going to continue our successful Women in Agriculture series. Today, we have Mrs. Gwen Cannon. She is a resident of the state of Mississippi, and I want her to share about herself with you all. I've been knowing her for a while and just want her to share who she is within this industry. She has done some awesome things in our community and still doing that, and most likely will come up with other ideas because she's always wanting to instill that goodness into our community through agriculture and many other things that she do in the community. So welcome, Mrs. Gwen.
Thank you so much. And I suppose you're wondering how in the world did I get started in agriculture? Well, it kind of got started when I married my husband. I was raised in the city. He was born and raised in the country for a while, and he moved to the city. And when we got married, he decided we were going to go back to his homeland. And he's a farmer. All along we were married, he was always planting stuff. He says because he liked to see things grow. Well, I was born and raised in the city, had no knowledge of farming or doing any of that. As a matter of fact, I really wasn't interested, but I came along with him because he's my husband, and I just believe that as women, we ought to follow our husbands and do what we can to help them, because at the same time, it helps us. So he started planting. We started planting because we have land, and we just feel like God wants us to make the best use of the land that we have. So we started planting food, everything you could think of, for the family. Because we realized that one of the things that was happening is a lot of the foods that you buy at the store, they have a lot of chemicals in them. They have been sprayed with pesticides, and they're not just so fresh. And so we wanted fresh vegetables. We wanted food that had not been treated with pesticides or any type of chemicals. So we started to grow our own. So it has evolved into a much larger situation than we had imagined. We started out in our backyard. Now we have about 5 or 6 garden plots. Can you believe that? And we raise everything: broccoli, kale, carrots, turnip greens, mustard greens, collard greens, everything you could think of that we can grow here in our area, in our zone. We do just that for healthier food, and we want to be able to provide for the community also. And we do just that. People know what's going on here, and they want to be a part of what's going on here. So they come and they buy our product. They help us, with farming on the land, etc. So we realized that this is a way that God would have us to do things, and so we do healthier foods. Food that doesn't have pesticides and been treated with chemicals and the like. Also, I operate a pantry, a food and clothing pantry at our church. So there we're able to give out food boxes every week. And if I have an oversupply of the vegetables that I have, I'm able to include that also in the food boxes. And we just don't know what's around the corner, or what's going to happen in the future. And I just encourage everybody, if you have land, you have to have land, because you can grow food in containers. You can grow food in containers just as well as you can, for yourself. just as well as you can if you have land. So don't think you're limited, to what you can do, because you can do a lot, plant in buckets, plant in flower pots, plant in flower beds, and, grow your own food, and it will help you in living a sustainable life. And you can also sell your vegetables and stuff. Living here on the farm, well, we also have all kinds of animals here. We don't have to buy meat from the grocery store because we raise our own goats, chickens, ducks, geese, sheep, cows. We also have horses. We don't eat those, though. We also have donkeys. We don't eat those either. And we have water. We have ponds, so we have fish. So the land provides all the resources that we need. So why not just take advantage of it?
Exactly. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I know that you and I have been knowing each other for many years. We have talked many times on different ideas that you wanted to put in play for the community. Do you mind sharing some of those kind of like niche opportunities? Because you were like, can I do this? And I'm like, yes, ma'am. So do you mind sharing some of the things that you have thought of, created, and implemented in the community to help people learn more about agriculture and specifically sustainable agriculture?
Yeah, sure. Well, one thing that I do, I have a rolling barnyard. So what I do is I load up all the animals, the small animals, the chickens, the rabbit. Oh, I'm a rabbit rancher now, Felicia. So I load up the chickens, the ducks, the geese, the rabbits, the sheep, and the goats, and I take them to different schools, daycares, birthday parties, picnics, wherever people would like for me to come, so the kids can become familiar with the animals, and so they can pet the animals, get to know the animals, and it also helps them to know where their food comes from. There are a lot of kids don't know that eating a hamburger, that you're actually eating cow. You're eating beef. A lot of kids don't know that. They don't know where the eggs come from. They don't know if they could eat lamb. They don't know they could eat goats, and they don't know what all goats do and all the animals do and how beneficial they are to us. And speaking of the animals, I tan hides. I tan the sheep hides, the goat hides, the deer hides. And what I do is I use the material for reupholstering chairs. I use the hides for making rugs and for making table mats, things like that. And I also grow gourds. I don't know if you know about gourds or not. My grandparents used to grow gourds, people in the older days. And what they did with those was they made dippers because they had whales, and they would make dippers to dip the water. And I would take the gourds, grow them, dry them out, cut them open, clean them out, and I would use them. I would make bowls and vases and decorative flower pots and etc. out of the gourds. But there's a lot of things you do. The land is just so rich, and there's so many things you could do. Everything you buy out of the store, it was made somewhere. It was done somewhere. So why not? Hey, you could do that your own self.
Definitely.
We're getting ready to have field days here so that people can come to the farm.
Yes, and it's a lot. Just knowing the family for so long, and then just also I would add the families have known each other for a while. My family, the older people, the Cannons and the Burnett's, just a long, long time, and been in the agriculture industry for, oh my goodness, just decades, because we're talking about a whole different generation that used to farm and farm for livelihood, just like your husband and yourself are doing. That is a lost art for us, literally farming to feed yourself, which most people know of it as homesteading. And just few generations ago, literally for me, that's 2 generations, because it was my grandfather's era that's how they lived. That's how I was brought up, where everything came from the land. And so I hear that that's what you're trying to give back to the community, teaching families and young people especially that they can do it. It's not something that's far-fetched, that they really can take care of themselves from the land that their grandparents have owned for many years and they now live on. They can utilize that land to help themselves.
Oh, speaking of lost art, I do all of my preserves. I make all of my jams, my jellies. So I have to go to the store and buy that. I do my own. And I do it from all the fruit trees that we have: pears, apples, figs, cherries, muscadines. Oh, don't tell nobody, but I make muscadine wine, and I'm not even a wine drinker.
Oh, wow.
Berries and
That's
plums.
amazing.
So,
That's so
so I
amazing.
make plum jelly. Yeah, plum jelly, grape jelly, just all kinds of jellies and jams. So I don't buy that at the store. And I also, speaking of lost art, I do canning. So I can my vegetables. When my deep freezer gets too full and I don't have any more storage left, because I do, put up my vegetables and stuff for eating later, what I do is I can. I've also canned some meat. You can go to the store and buy canned meat. So
Yes.
you can do that. I can meats. I can make salsa, soups, and all kinds of stuff like that. That you can do.
Mm-hmm.
So when I go
And
to the
that,
grocery store, I don't think I just buy staples. Like flour, meal, grits. Just little butter. Little stuff like that. Oh, and
yes, ma'am.
don't mention butter to my husband. The next thing you know, he would go out and try to find me a cow to milk.
Yes,
So
or you can
yeah.
create the homemade butter.
Right. Don't do that yet. No.
Wow, that's just so amazing to hear. Do you remember when you all put your fruit trees out? Is this something has been on the family land for many years, or is it something that you and your husband did has planted all of these fruit trees?
Oh, we planted them ourselves because we planted them ourselves. There's only one fruit tree on the land right now that was already here, and that is a peach tree.
Okay.
So it's wild peaches. They don't get very big, but they're still sweet and good. But we planted all the trees.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming when you first got married and so they've been there for many, many years.
Yes, maybe about 45 years.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So you're getting just an abundance at this point because they really have set in and really pulling the good nutrients from the soil. So you're getting, such an abundance of fruit. That's so wonderful to hear.
Right.
Now, do you share with the community ladies how to can? Because again, lost arts. These are skills that are just not prevalent anymore, or people really don't know that you can do this. And then the ones that know, they're like, oh, there's really nobody to teach it, and so forth. So is that something you also offer possibly at your church or within the community?
I'm so glad you mentioned that because, let's see, around the end of the month, I'm scheduled to do, I call it Jesus and Jam. So what I do is some of the church ladies come together on a Saturday morning, and I teach them how to make jelly and jam.
That's so amazing to hear. That is amazing. So, Ms. Gwen, what have kept you in this industry of agriculture? So again, you said you were a city girl, but wanting to be a supportive wife, with what your husband wanted to do and how you all wanted to live. What have kept you here? Why do you feel like agriculture have just tugged at your heart at this point now with all the amazing things that you're doing?
I guess you could say being connected to God, because there is a way, that he would have us to go. And if we do that, and he's provided all of this, why not use all of it? So being connected to him and realizing that we need to eat healthy foods. We need to do healthy things so that, we can live a sustainable life. And with all of the things that's happening today, I encourage everybody to get back to it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for that. And if nothing else, we'll close out with, what are your goals for the future? Just say 20 years from now, how do you want your farm business to look, even the family farm as a whole?
To be bigger and better, providing more resources, ideas, food for the community, helping everybody to live a healthy life, health and healthier life.
Yes, ma'am. That's so wonderful. I just so thank you for your time and energy today, sharing with our clients at NCAT about what you do here in Central Mississippi. I just thank you. And I always love our conversations, and because you be asking a lot of questions because you're trying to put more into the community. And I'm just grateful that NCAT has been here to assist you with some of those ideas, so you can just not necessarily make a lot of mishaps, but be able to go and implement those ideas fairly easy and calmly, because you kind of know how to do it at that point. And so I'm just very grateful to you. Glad you're within our community. You're sharing all of this information, as well as sharing the understanding of how to live sustainably. We always talk about sustainable agriculture, but you're showing it, you're living it. And that is the perfect example for the community. They get to see this can be done in this day and age. See, we talk about what grandparents and great-grandparents did, but most young people and also their parents, they haven't really seen it. So I commend you and your husband. Thank you so much, but for being in our community and providing all of this.
Sure, and thank you. And listen, when y'all want to have a jam party, all you got to do is call me.
Okay, we definitely will, because that's it. Again, it's a lost skill. It is such a lost skill on canning and putting up food and just understanding that it is possible to have your own food in the wintertime and so forth, not necessarily having to go anywhere for your your survival, your thriving in life for as food is concerned. So thank you, Miss Gwen. We appreciate you always, and know that NCAT is here for you and your husband to uplift you all. Anything that you want done for the different programs on your farm and that kind of stuff, however we can help, this particular office is here for you. We thank you so much.
Okay, well, you're welcome. Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention that we do. The other day, a young man brought a group of high school kids out to the farm to expose them to agriculture, in hopes that they will become a part of it. So we do interchange such as that, any group that wants to bring a group of kids out so that they can, become exposed to what we're doing. We welcome that also.
Great. I'm glad you mentioned that, because yes, I know there's many groups that want to take you up on that just to learn, that beginning step of helping young people realize what agriculture is really about. Thank you so much.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you.
Right.
I keep holding you, and you already trying to go. So.
Oh no! You are welcome to keep talking. This is open for you, and really want to be able to share the successful women in the Gulf states. And so, no, I'm very grateful to your time and energy today. No rush. Just want to make sure that we're capturing what you want to share with everyone, to share about your farm and so forth here in Central Mississippi. So no, we're very, very grateful to you. Is there anything else you would like to share that you have thought of that you would like to share?
No, that's it, Felicia. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you. So today, this is another opportunity with a successful woman in agriculture. We're very, very grateful to Mrs. Gwen Cannon. That was our special guest today on this particular series of successful women in agriculture from the National Center for Appropriate Technology. Have a great day.
That's it for this episode. Thanks for listening. Additional information about this episode and related resources can be found at atra.ncat.org. Don't miss an episode. Subscribe to Voices from the Field wherever you get your podcasts. ATRA, Voices from the Field, is produced by the National Center for Appropriate Technology, headquartered in Butte, Montana. It's supported by the USDA Rural Business Cooperative Service as part of NCAT's ATRA Sustainable Agriculture Program. Any opinions, findings, conclusions, or recommendations expressed in this recording are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of the USDA or NCAT. We'll catch you again next week, and until then, keep on farming.